UCSD's campus is growing fast and apartments for students are scarce, but does that combination open the door for bad actors? One local landlord is now accused of taking advantage of parents and students who so desperately need housing.
So what should students and their families be aware of? Our Steffi Roche is here with one family story. Steffi?
Well, our investigation started about a month ago after I first connected with the father of a UC San Diego student. He claims his family was denied the return of their deposit at the Venetian Condos in La Jolla, even though his son never moved in. They filed a small claims lawsuit against the landlord. So I started digging into those claims and what California law actually says about security deposits. Tonight, I'll show you what I uncovered and what a local attorney says you need to know about California's laws that are supposed to protect renters.
After we got moved off on-campus housing, we had to find a place to stay. So our group of friends, we looked on apartments.com and we found his listing.
At the end of UC San Diego's 2023 spring semester, Michael Aquilina Jr., or Mikey, was looking for an apartment with 3 other friends to be near campus. They came across one of the many units owned by Dr. Ali Ghorbanzadeh and apparent sons, Brian and Sean Ghorban, at the Venetian Condos on Nobel Drive.
Yeah, we actually met all 3 of them on separate occasions.
Through my email exchanges with Dr. Ghorbanzadeh, he explained that the 368-unit condos at the Venetian are individually owned and operated. Ghorbanzadeh signs his emails as president of the Venetian Board of Directors. The friends both tell me a verbal agreement was made, and Mikey's dad, Bay Area resident Michael Aquilina Sr., assisted in putting down a $2,000 security deposit to hold the unit.
Most of it was through the son, Sean Ghorbanzadeh, but we paid Ali Ghorbanzadeh.
But even though the payment was made, it still wasn't a done deal due to what they describe as an issue with the lease they were sent.
It didn't have a date on it, or it didn't have a unit either. It was just kind of like a placeholder lease. So we're like, we won't really sign this.
He says they tried to get in touch with the landlords.
But after we gave him the security deposit, he kind of started ghosting our email communication.
As the summer went on, and they claimed their attempts to get in touch with the owners failed, Michael Sr. traveled from the Bay Area to La Jolla to try to get everything straightened out. He says he was in communication with the sons, Brian and Sean.
When I got there, they no-showed. I called them and said, "Where are you?" They said, "We can't come. We're not going to come." I said, "Okay, fine. Give me the deposit back. We're going to go find alternate housing." And he said, "Well, you can't have the deposit back." I said, "Wait, is this a security deposit?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, well, if it's a security deposit, they never moved in." He said, No, it's a holding deposit." And I said, "Well, we didn't hold anything." He hung up, told me, "Call my lawyer," hung up, and blocked me.
I reached out to Dr. Ali Ghorbanzadeh and the main Venetian email address. While he denies that it was just a verbal agreement, he says that the deposit is non-refundable, arguing that the Aquilinas did not hold up their end of the bargain. I did some digging and found 2 small claims court lawsuits. One where, although a lease was signed, the tenants never moved in and the deposit was never refunded. They won their case, records show. Another small claims lawsuit involving former UCSD international student Jianing Shi shares nearly identical circumstances to the Aquilinas situation. The lawsuit alleged a deposit was paid first to secure the lease. When she received the agreement, she alleges she caught inaccuracies in the contract, which ultimately led to her seeking her money back.
But they refused to pay the deposit back, so I only sued the father.
She won her case, and the judgment was just over $7,100. The Venetian Condos team tells me that they have only had a few bad apples that have won the court cases without Dr. Ghorbanzadeh getting involved. So we decided to ask Jimmy Parker, a consumer protection class action attorney with Robinson, Markovich & Parker.
In the state of California, if a renter makes a security deposit, Can a landlord label that as non-refundable?
Absolutely not. So the law is very clear. With a security deposit, no aspect of a security deposit can be deemed non-refundable. In fact, the law requires a landlord to provide certain documentation in order to even deduct anything from a security deposit, namely being for cleaning and repairs, evidence that the cleaning and repairs actually took place.
But a holding deposit is typically given to a landlord to hold the unit until a tenant can sign the lease and get possession of the premises.
In the view of the law, typically any deposit given with respect to renting a leasehold is deemed to be a security deposit. Certainly, it cannot be non-refundable.
If it's true that nothing was signed, that there was no lease, is the complex, or in general, are complexes like this, are they breaking the law by not returning that deposit?
Absolutely. So a lease is not a requirement to rent a unit. Now, the landlord's going to say that they suffered damages because they failed to take possession of the property pursuant to a lease, but in this instance, they didn't have a signed written lease. There's no damages there for the landlord. In my opinion, the security deposit should be refunded entirely to the departing tenant.
Meanwhile, for the Aquilinas, they are pursuing legal action against Gorbanzadeh in small claims court. But for tenants, Parker advises that you always want to memorialize any type of transaction. Even if it's not written in a lease, he says to send an email or text to get a record of what you're doing and what the funds are being used for. He also advises to take photos and videos of the condition of the unit when you move in and when you leave. For now, in the studio, I'm Steffi Roche, CBS 8.